you ready? Say 1, 2, 3, 4. I woke up this morning with a mind set on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind set on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind set on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Good morning. Welcome, CSL Simi Valley. Thanks for coming today. Reverend Stephen will be back next week, but we have a wonderful day planned for you. Got
Yeah.
Reverend Rob here
little
and
button.
Dr. Sue.
That's her talking. She got her mic on.
She's here.
She's in the
That's
other room
awesome.
getting
She's
mic'd.
in the building. Unfortunately, there was a little traffic accident, and she was delayed, and I think she literally just got here. So that's really great. So first thing I'd like to remind you is this coming Friday, we have the Drum Circle here on Friday evening. For those of you who haven't been here, haven't been to Drum Circle, they're absolutely amazing. And Darlene was telling me, I haven't been to one of these yet, but I'm going to make it definitely.
That was just a sneak preview.
Perfect. So if you can, make sure and come on out for that. Now you have the next slide, please. So a few years ago, we haven't done this inclusion statement for a few years, so we'd like to have everybody join in on this one. But I just want to say a little bit about why inclusion is so incredibly important. I think a lot of you probably have heard of, like, diversity and inclusion initiatives and things like that. And I work for medical companies, and there's diversity and there's inclusion, and those two parts are extremely important to have together. So I work for medical companies. I'll give you an example. So there was a team working on a new birth control pill, and somebody all of a sudden realized there were no women on the team. I mean, which makes no sense whatsoever, right? But then when you look at, you can still have diversity, but even if you have those diverse thoughts and minds at the table, if they're not really included and they're not able to, feel safe to speak up, that inclusion piece is so incredibly important for that we really get the depth and breadth and beauty of all those different opinions and voices and perspectives. And so it's a little long, but it's not that long. It's going to be 4 slides, and John's going to move it for us. But I'd like everyone to join in and recommit to the statement of inclusion for CSL Simi Valley. Please join me. We, the Center for Spiritual Living Simi Valley, are a community of loving hearts and open minds that celebrate diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies, advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees holiness in all life, remains learners and listeners so we can grow together and understand that oneness is not sameness. And we, the Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, know the beloved community is revealed when we love each other well. And so it is.
Sweet.
That was nice.
So if you'd also join in our vision and mission statement. We are community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God. In gratitude, empowering self and others, we serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. That's who we are. That's why we're here. And here's what we do. Reverend Rob.
So, I invite you to join me in consciousness for our opening treatment. There is only the divine. The divine goes by so many names, so many cultures. So many people have tried to get a handle on this thing that is just so big. It created all that is. It is so much bigger, so much denser, so much deeper, wider. It is unfathomable. We can't grasp it, but we try. But we know that it is good, and we know that it lives in us, and we know that it surrounds us, and we know that it is a source of all peace and love and joy. And so we are just here to acknowledge that. We are grateful for this service. We are grateful for this center. We are grateful for all of our teachers. We're grateful for the music. We're grateful for everything that goes into making this morning happen. And from this place of gratitude and appreciation, we release this word to the law, and the law says yes. And we accept this, and we do this when we say, and so it is.
Please join us in our congregational song.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day.
And we're thankful for the children. Are there any children in the house today? Well, oh, there we go. So we are thankful for all those who are children in age and children at heart. And we know that we have a powerful Cosmic Kids program. Is that the truth?
Yeah.
Is that the truth? I'll let you get away with it. We'll practice. We'll practice till we get it right. So our affirmation, I will read it through once, and then we will say it together. I transcend evidence of human darkness anywhere by radiating the energy of divine light, love, and truth everywhere. So together. I transcend evidence of human darkness anywhere by radiating the energy of divine light, love, and truth everywhere. So my reading today is from the Science of Mind textbook. In flashes of illumination, the inspired have seen into the very center of reality. They have brought back with them a distinct impression of what they have seen and felt. The glimpse of this reality illuminates their whole being with a flood of light. Every mystic has had this experience. In moments of deepest realization, the great mystics have sensed that one life flows through all, and that all are some part of that life. They have also seen a substance, a fine, white, brilliant stuff, forever falling into everything, a substance indestructible and eternal. Light was the first great revelation of the divine creative energy that called all things into being. Let there be light, and there was light. There is healing light in the rays of the sun, which we term a physical radiance. But how much is that greater power of the healing power of spirit?
Thank you, Rob. This morning we have our dear friend, Patricia Bahia. Every day is a gift, lady.
All right, good morning. We're going to start off with a song that I wrote with J.D. Martin called Just One You. And if you are so inspired to sing along at any point, you are invited. Listen to the beating of your heart. Take the time to find out who you are. 'Cause you got something special. You're one of a kind. And this whole world needs to see you shine.
Nobody else can do
It's just one you. Just one.
Patricia Bahia. More to come.
Now it's time for the gap, the God awareness place. That silence that's in between the thoughts. So as we look to the silence and the quiet, we find a stillness, and that's where the divine is. Actually, the divine is everywhere, but we can make a more conscious connection. So we're going to go into the silence for 3 minutes, and then Sherry will bring us out.
I am in the darkness. I am in the light. See me if you can. Everywhere I am.
So I know that a lot of you are already meditators, and if you are not a regular meditator, I invite you to give it a try. It's really just this simple, just taking some time to be quiet. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob. Come on back up, Patricia.
Somebody hates another for no reason but the color of their skin. Then I don't need a reason. I can love you for your soul within. You're a child of God, and that's good enough. Good enough, good enough for me. We are made of love, made by God above. And if you're good enough for God, that's good enough for me. If you're good enough for God, that's good for me. Hey, you. Yes, you. Yes, I see you and I love you. Hey, you. Yes, you. I don't know you, but I love you. And although we may look different, everybody's got a heart that breaks. We all got the same colored blood running through our veins. You're a child of God, and that's good enough. Good enough, good enough for me. We are made of love, made by God above. And if you're good enough for God, that's good enough for me. If you're good enough for God, that's good for me. If you're good enough for God, that's good enough for me. Hey, you. Yes, you. I don't know you, but I love you.
Cheryl, if that isn't diversity and inclusion, it's written right there. Put them back.
I think she has more anyway.
If you're good enough for God, that's good enough for me. That's it, right? You guys look. Oh wait, I meant to do this in the beginning, and I forgot, and I'm doing it now because I love it. I have to tell you, Reverend Steve and I had a really good time shopping for gongs.
I'll bet.
It was this huge room, bigger than this one, gongs all around, and we're just, it was awesome. So we are very blessed today to have a wonderful, wonderful speaker that I know a lot of you are familiar with. But for those of you who are not, I would just want to do a little intro for our Dr. Sue Rubin. Dr. Sue found, you've changed names a few times, so forgive me, the religious science in the mid-'70s and knew immediately this was her path and started studying. And I didn't know, you're Canadian, Dr. Sue?
No.
You're Canadian? Oh, you were up in Alberta, but I thought you were Canadian maybe, so. Okay, so she was the founding pastor at the First Church of Religious Science in Edmonton, Alberta, and she was there for 10 years. And when she left a trail of trained ministers, and they were able to purchase their own building. So, Dr. Sue, I really want to talk to you about that, get more information about that. Lucky for us, she came down here to California, and I know she was practicing in Westlake for quite some time, and we are very, very lucky and blessed. I know she's one of Sherry's 3 moms. 4. 4. Oh, gosh. So I am very honored to introduce Dr. Sue Rubin.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Good morning, everyone. You'll see a little different thing going on here, and we have help for that, but not to be distracted by any of that. So, Christmas in July, right? Yes. You know how when you buy a new car, or even before that, when you're in the process of shopping, suddenly that's the only car you see on the road? Yeah. So last night, I was restless, excited about being here. Thank you so much, darling. And I happened to flip to Saturday Night Live. Of course, everything is in replay right now. And guess what season of the year they were celebrating? It was their Christmas show. And so, Christmas in July, what's that all about? Christmas is every day. Should you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear and to listen and be heard. So, it's okay. We're just going to improvise. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sound?
Fine. Do
Okay.
whatever you want, Mama.
So, you know, it's a funny thing when you get hooked into the standard human way of celebrating any holiday. It becomes more about what you're doing, of course, than who you're being. And I think all of us that are studying the higher laws and ways of being in our world without becoming trapped in everything that's happening. I mean, life is peaceful and wonderful in the outer world, right? Do I hear a dissenting voice? And you know, I think it's because not enough of us are consistently practicing the presence of God. So radiating who and what we are is why we have come. You and I may ponder, like, well, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be a teacher or a lawyer or, you know, the variety of human experiences that comprise any given profession or work that we choose to do in the world? But the simplicity of is that we've all come to experience the presence and power of the divine and to be that radiating light of energy, love, and truth. And so that seems to be the hardest challenge. You can find a job anywhere, you really can, when you're diligent and dedicated to doing that. And if you have more of not an outline, but at least a sense of not taking the least of anything, but rather knowing that the moreness of you is willing to manifest the moreness of life. And so we who are the students and the teachers of living in the light and radiating the power and presence of God are the timeless, ageless, boundless, and limitless beings. And yet, the more that outer circumstances seem to be distracting and disturbing and devastatingly sad and angry and divisive, etc., fill in the blanks. But I think if any of the metaphysical teachings, and specifically science of mind, is about anything these days, it has to be something that is relevant to working with the challenges that we're all facing today, because the challenges are showing us go beyond the shallow into the deep. Let's say that together. I go beyond the shallow into the deep. I go beyond the shallow into the deep. And that means I just don't mouth pretty statements that say, I am the manifestation of God, but I live that. So radiating the energy of divine light is really converting every day to living a light-filled experience of that divine. You know, wherever you go during the daytime hours before you meet here at this wonderful community, wherever you go and whatever you do, you're always taking yourself with you and revealing whatever the consciousness is. So thinking about any holiday, you know, the holiday that is marked on a calendar is simply calling us to the specifics that usually go with the calendar. But basically, the principles underlying that which the power is, love and joy, creativity, spontaneity, all manifestations of every infinite good and alternate reality that we are big enough in awareness to recognize are ours, to give and to share and reveal and experience. So as some of you or all of you know, on September 11th, I had my own September 11th last year in 2022, and I was hit by a car as a pedestrian. And it sent me from the hospital to rehab and to a brand new assisted living that had just emerged right down the street from me in Westlake Village. And so I went there for 6 months to rebuild, restore, regenerate, renew, because you know that's what all of us have the capacity to do every day. And in the process of being at Veronita, I looked around, and it was a wonderful time and place to be, certainly divinely ordained. It was my experience of Christmas, and of course my own converted 9/11 experience. Why? Because it had just opened. It was like going on the maiden voyage of a cruise ship, you know, where everything doesn't quite work right. But the people, there were only like 15 of us. And so I thought to myself, it looks like there's a lot of preoccupation, which of course happened with me and with everyone who has experienced the appearance of disease or accident. No such thing, of course. There was no accident that I got hit by a car. I kept a divine appointment. Am I going to belabor the fact and blame and shame and guilt and anger? No. Something more was necessary to reveal. But anyway, so the 15 of us, I looked around, I said to myself, I said, self, you could do a mindful meditation class. Let's check it out. Let's see what's happening here. I can't be without my peeps somewhere. So I started this class, and when I can remember sitting at the dinner table one evening before it happened and mentioning it, and a couple of people actually, like, you know, that embarrassed giggle that goes, like, what she thinks she's doing, but not quite certain how to handle it. So anyway, we started the class, and it's been a wonderful experience, which I'm still doing. I'm back home, but I still go back every Monday afternoon for my mindful meditation class. And what I've discovered is how to teach science of mind 101 minus 1. Truly. Because if I were to walk in and say, okay, we're gathering today, you know there's an infinite intelligence that receives the impress of our thought. And according to your deepest thoughts and beliefs and convictions, you know the people, the places, and things are going to show up in your life, right? Wrong. And so if all of us would go back to the basis, how can I utilize a universal principle? It doesn't belong to any one religion we could point to, or spiritual tradition of faith, like the science of mind, or unity, or divine science. You know, nobody ever talks about divine science, which was the startup of how Ernest Holmes discovered religious science and delved into what became the science of mind. But I digress. So if we have a spiritual foundation that simply says, look, there are the best of times, there are the worst of times. We may say we're living in the worst of them. And certainly there's much validation for that. But on the other hand, any generation, any given time, dating back through time immemorial, could say the same thing. Because the paradox of life has always been, quote unquote, the fighting of good versus evil, of which there is no duality, there's only one. And therefore it makes sense that if I align all of my resources, consciously and subjectively, my thoughts, my feelings, my beliefs, my convictions, everything that I hold to be most true, and if my commitment is to utilize that every day to the very best of my ability to be a messenger of light, of love. And that doesn't mean this lofty unconditional. If we can be less conditional in our loving every minute of every day, in our interiority of belief and thought and consciousness, we will more effectively and artfully be able to express it through the things that we do and the people we meet in any given day. Because Christmas is simply a rising up of something new, and something new is arising every day in every way. Every time I say that, I remember Emile Coué, you know, the old metaphysical story about the man who's taking a lot of medication every day, and his wife brings him this affirmation from Emile Coué: I am better every day in every way. And he did that, and she said, do that when you're taking your medications, because even before you take an Advil or a Tylenol or whatever you're taking, if the mind is set on knowing this too is good, this too is God, this is all an aspect of every component that is designed to restore one to healing, to wholeness, to harmony, to that which personifies the ultimate good and the infinite reality. And so finally, one day, he thought, he looked, and he said, started saying the usual every day, and he goes, oh, hell, I'm well. So that's the conversion that we're asked to do. And you can still be taking your medication. In this story, the best is always revealed, so of course he tossed away. But that's his medication, that's not necessary. But if everything I ingest beside my thinking is ingested with the thought of good, of God, of wholeness, of harmony, of complete and glorious life, we'll see that as crazy as things are in the lives we presently are living, at the base of it all, if I can not only name the good, but somewhere see it, I'll realize, you know, with all the shenanigans, the universe is still here. Yeah, it would seem in a little bit of a shocking dimension between fires and hurricanes and tornadoes, but yet everything grows. I live just below a hillside, and was evacuated, as perhaps many of you or some of you were, back in 2018. And when we were able to return home, I mean, it was so sad to see the devastation of all that was burned on that hillside. But there's a balancing factor. Just the extremity of the rains we had this past fall are indicative of suddenly that hillside is bursting with new life, because we know that out of the fire, the phoenix, something new arises. So if every holiday were personified every day, and Dee, where are you, Dee? If everything about our lives truly were integrated into the oneness of knowing there is good here. Emma Curtis Hopkins, no matter what was going on, she would stand there and proclaim, this too is good, this too is God. And by seeing it, I call forth the blessing of it. So it's something that calls for all of us to work within a tangible aspect. You know, we don't ideally have the guru to bow to. And yet the guru, through the Eastern traditions, is not there to be worshipped as a person, but rather as an exemplary manifestation of the divine. Well, you and I, you remember what they did with the word guru, just what Patricia was singing about it. I get all excited. Talk among yourselves. I'm not kidding. Say something to each other. That so far is your takeaway from this morning. Music, words, silence, everything. Tell the person sitting next to you. So what's your takeaway? What do you recall? Okay, that's enough. You know, it's so interesting that all of church from day one, no matter what church or temple or mosque it was initiated as whoever is on stage, the guru, the priest, the imam, the rabbi, whoever gets up, the preacher, the saint, the scholar, the philosopher, the saintly one who seems to know more than we know. It's always been, I talk, you listen. That's not the way life is intended. That's really part of what any savory, sweet holiday is about. It reminds us of communion, of the common unity. Communion, the common unity we share in that we're all cut from the same cloth. We all originate from one divine pattern of perfection, of wholeness and completeness. And that's the divine, that's the infinite, that's the universal self that we are called upon to manifest and incarnate and demonstrate through our living experiences of we communicate together. That's why as this whole teaching and the whole of any faith tradition continues evolving, it embraces more of what's been referred to from an ancient statement, the beloved community. And the beloved community comes together, it would seem, simply to be reminded every time this community, this common union takes place, to be reminded that I am the only light that I'll ever see or those around me will see emanate from me if I consciously make my dedicated vision to simply practice the presence of God every day. That is such an ancient, I don't know if it was Thomas Merton, but living and practicing the presence of God. Let's say that together. I live and practice the presence of God daily. I live and practice the presence of God daily. You know, this goes back so far, this repeat after me. When I discovered Science of Mind in the mid-'70s, it was with Dr. Tom Johnson primarily, although I remember Dr. Kathleen McLaughlin. Does anyone remember Dr. Kathleen from the Granada Hills? No? Oh my God, she was such a mystic. She walked around truly living and practicing the presence of God. And in the way, you know, it's not the words we spout. It's something that you sense and feel. How many times we've heard, you know, people say, oh, I went to this wonderful lecture. I didn't understand a word that was said, but I really felt good. Because basically this is a feeling universe. So Christmas comes every day of the year to remind us of love, of the constancy, of a presence that's there. But unless you and I recognize it very deliberately with our own awareness that it exists, then it's not there other than as a dormant possibility. And God knows we've got a lot of those lying dormant. Things we say, oh, I'd love to. Well, why don't you? Oh, I should have. Well, why don't you now? Remember Yogi Berra? Someone complaining to him, like, well, I'd love to be a doctor, but my God, at my age and stage of life, it'll take me 10 years. I'll be 10 years older. And Yogi replies, you'll be 10 years older anyway. So do what feeds you from the heart and soul of you. And because I never can find the Oh, there I go. I have no idea of the time, but I do imagine it's probably drawing to a point of not ending, but beginning. The beginning is every new day. That's really what Christmas in May, June, July, and August and every other day of the year is about. It's like no matter what I did yesterday or what I didn't do last month, last year, 10 years ago, today in the truth of our nature is a new beginning. Anytime I declare it, you declare it. We declare it for each other. So let's stop living the falsity of conning ourselves into thinking, oh, I'm very spiritual. When the days go by and nothing in life is affecting you other than negatively, rather than bringing light, it's always been a basic philosophy that every devastating situation and condition throughout life is always a call for prayer. In science of mind, we might say everything is a call for spiritual mind treatment. But that's such a kind of scientific term. And yet, I've got one last thought. You know, oh, I don't really. I only have new thoughts every moment, right? But remember the Webb telescope that went up into space, doing a kind of different thing than the Hubble. One of the images they sent back, maybe you saw it, was the birth of a new star, which is 390 light years away. Now, if a telescope, you would say invented by Webb, James Webb, no, it was the mind of God that Webb used. If we can back up everything to the source, we'll stop reacting and blaming and criticizing and judging conditions, and we'll say if it's happening up there, then by God, there's a star within me, and I see it, I feel it, I am it, and so is everything. Every life, yours, mine, and all everywhere. Believe it or not, and I challenge you to believe it, every condition is God in action, no matter what it looks like out here. Back it up. God within, out of the shallow into the deep, is always exactly where we are. That's the truth. I am, you are, that radiating energy of light, love, and truth. And that's the truth, the whole truth, and only the truth. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rutsu. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. So, affirmation? That's not quite yet.
Come back.
No,
You were supposed to shoot
yeah, I thought we were doing
a revealing prayer.
circulation.
It's time for the revealing prayer, I think.
Not on my list, but okay. Dan, come on.
Okay.
I want you each to go within yourself, and only you can go there, and only I can go here. And yet when we're doing that, the one cloth we're cut from comes alive in a most expanded way. And so in this moment, I acknowledge that I am the divine radiating energy of perfect love, perfect light, perfect law, and perfect truth. And so I stand open and receptive to that next fulfilling impulse that is always pressing up against me to remind me of who and what I am. And once aware of this great truth that God is, I am, I take that and I move it forward into action so that wherever I go and with whomever I'm in touch, communicating silently or overtly, I come from God to God, for there is only one, always has been, is now, and shall forevermore be. So I am the love, the light, the spirit of truth and God itself. And I prove it by living and practicing the presence of God now and always, as together we declare and accept that this is the way it is, and so it is.
So it is.
One more. There we go.
Now.
Hello again. So your gifts make all of this possible. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. And so there's various ways that you can share your gifts with us, and we greatly appreciate them. If you go to the next slide, John. So if you could join us in the affirmation together. Divine love is doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, and me now. Divine love prevails. Please look at the calendar of events. We have so many things going on. Remember, Friday is the drum circle. Cassandra, where are you? Perfectly Imperfect Yoga on Tuesdays. Last chance, please come with me. I'm signed up for this class. Somebody come join me over for Karen's class. It's going to be great. Our own Reverend Rob on Wednesday evenings for July. Meditation on Thursdays with John Bellis. I saw him. Where is he? There you are, John. This coming Friday at 7, the drum circle. Please join us. The Holiday Boutique. There's more goodies and something new every single week. There's all kinds of new good stuff out there. Check it out. Oh, and the silent auction. Go out and Diane will talk to you all about the silent auction. Get your ugly sweaters out. Hopefully it won't be as hot as today. Or we're going to say ugly t-shirts.
Stuff off for the food and ways to donate and stuff. More ways to donate and stuff. Yet another way to piggy bank. Watch us again. We're very entertaining. Practitioner, that's me today. We are abundant. So that was a big out breath. You know how you can do a big out breath? Take a big in breath. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. No, see, you can't, right? Because this is the way life works. You receive and we give. And we are so blessed with what we have here, what comes in online, and the presence of everyone here is such a wonderful blessing. So we are grateful, and so it is.
So it is. We have one more beautiful song from Miss Bahia.
All right. So we're talking about letting our inner light shine, and I thought this would be the perfect song for that. It's called Let Your Colors Shine. and it's about sharing yourself with the world. So, take it away.
Shine all week long.
Not quite as polished as Reverend Stephen, but I'm getting there. Thank you so much for being here. We like the volunteers, our lead service team, Greg and Pat Schaefer. I know you're here because I saw you. Okay, there you are. Thank you. Lisa Cavallari, yay. Deborah Owen, back there. Hi, Deborah. Slides, John. Practitioner of the day, Reverend Rob Thompson. Guest speaker, Dr. Reverend Sue Rubin. Our Soul Purpose band, Steve and Sherry and Randy and Bob and Lane and Cassandra. Great to see you. Office support, Lane Taylor. Oh, you're counting cash today. And fellowship, Costa and Lena and Lillian. Thank you so much for getting everything ready for the fellowship afterward. Thank you so much for all being here. Okay, we'll do them. So there's a sign-up sheet outside for the holiday potluck. It's the last Sunday in July 30th. You know what? This is what I'm trying to do. Think about what your holiday traditions are, and I know that we all have different ethnic backgrounds, and sometimes you do things that are very specific to your ethnic background. So I thought if you want to bring something that's very traditional for your holiday meal and share it with everybody, I think that'd be great. So there's a sign-up sheet outside. Please sign up and go check out the boutique. And I think is that, and a T-shirt or a sweater. I mentioned this earlier. One more chance to get the Karen's workshop. The sign-up sheet is in the lobby. Check that out. And Reverend Rob Thompson will be over there. You want to say something?
Well, it said I was supposed to say something. Do you want me to say something, or you want to take it?
You go for it.
You sure?
Yeah. You're supposed to say something good about experiencing prayer.
Well, have you ever had a spiritual mind treatment?
I have.
And how was it?
Absolutely amazing.
Because you know how this, we do more than just talk about this, because this is, remember, if you go to my class, and like if you were here last week, then you know that your ideas become words, become actions, become habits, becomes your destiny, which is just a way of saying how you experience life. So if we can change our thoughts, and that's what these spiritual tools are for, we can change our experience. There you go. Oh, I'll be over there ready to pray with anybody who wants a little treatment.
Separate room and everything. Okay. We're at the end. Okay. Thank you, Reverend Rob. So if you'll all join me, please. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love.
All right, join us in our new congregational song. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Something awesome and incredible, and only He can get the glory. God is doing something wonderful, incredible and awesome. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Something awesome and incredible, and only She can get the glory. God is doing something wonderful, incredible and awesome. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Something awesome and incredible, and only He can get the glory. God is doing something wonderful, incredible and awesome. God is doing something wonderful in me. Wait. Hold on. Randy, you want to unmute her?
Sherry and I, dating back to my days with Westlake, would do a duet, a mixture of Oh Yeah Hey and Two. Would you like to stay for just a few? Then let's do it. So if you would.
I'll start. As you remember, I start.
Yes, I know.
You know. Yes, daughter. I am listening to the music of the Holy Spirit. Oh, what a song God is singing, and I will sing it all day long. I will sing it all day long.
And so I am still. And by being still, I know that God's presence comes more fully alive through and by means of me. It's always there. But by stilling the busyness of my mind, I come to a deeper realization that there is peace at the very heart of God, stillness in the mind of God, and I am that which it is.
There's a silence in the stillness of the Holy, Holy Spirit. Oh, what a light God is being, and I will see it everywhere. I will be everywhere.
And so, by being still, by listening in the silence, I hear new words, new aspects of my divine essence. Greater love emits forth through and by means of me. A greater generosity, the self-givingness of that divine. I listen, and it beckons me inward and then forward, out into manifestation by the words I speak, through every encounter toward myself and toward others. I am still. I enter the solitude, and in that stillness, I listen to the very divine impulse, the divine guidance, the loving movements that God makes throughout my life. And I give thanks for all that is potential through stillness and listening.
I am moving to the rhythm of the Holy, Holy Spirit. This chance of life, God inspires, keeps me dancing. My faith is strong.
Faith and conviction and acceptance and gratitude, I move from the stillness, from listening to the very voice, the divine guidance and creativity that God reveals by means of me. I move into a fuller expression, oneness with the dance of life, moving rhythmically, harmoniously, easily, freely, lovingly, generously with that which already is, has always been, and is now. Perfect God, perfect life, perfect mind, perfect body, perfect being. Wholeness is at the core of myself, and in stillness, in solitude, in listening and moving, in speaking and giving, I create a seamless awareness into its perfect expression and manifestation. Most assuredly, God is right here where I am, all are, everything is. God is, I am. And for this and so much more than words can express, I give thanks, I accept, and together we say, and so it is.
Yes, indeed. So it is.
Thanks, Sherry.
very, very good.